You not about to come into a single mother's life just to love.
When your demand outstrips your value, you run into these issues. Subscribe, let's talk about it.
And love isn't enough to keep me around. You not about to come into a single mother's life just to love. No. If you not pulling up to cut my grass every 2 weeks, to buy me a pair of sneakers, there's a pair of Jordans coming out every month, chipping into buying for those or buying me a pair, my nails, groceries. I mean, the list goes on. Love isn't enough to keep me around. Mama huevo.
Now, why would I do any of those things if I don't love you? And how do we get to that point? I don't love you off the bat. I don't love you immediately. That's not how the real world works. But more importantly, when your demand outstrips your value, unless you're telling us you have a bunch of men, of high quality men surrounding you, waiting to be in your life, and you just have to add on increasing filters to basically say, well, this is the one I want to be with. But this is why men have this problem. You're telling us you're a single mom, and then these are now your standards. You're allowed to have those standards. You're allowed to say, hey, because I have a kid, these are now the things that become more and more stringent. But when you simply make it about money, okay, we're looking at saying you didn't have a bunch of men lined up ready to take on that prospect in the first place. You're adding extra things on as sort of like a cope of why men aren't in your life or why you're not having this. Listen, it's fairly simple. The longer you dodge around the fact that you have a kid, the more obvious it becomes to men, the more off-putting it is. This is not to say, and we're having an honest conversation here, this is not to say that single moms don't get chosen. They do. They do. But the ones that understand their position probably have a better time at that. Understanding, hey, I'm a single mom. A lot of my focus is going to be towards my kid. I don't have the time to do the things that you may feel you want to do. I have to think about this child first. But when I do have time, you will be a priority. That's probably better along the lines of what you should be saying, not falling in line with more of the rhetoric out there and saying men have to increasingly show up harder, better. The best type of man has to be around. That's what I deserve. No. Society, life is the greatest algorithm, and is showing you exactly what you should be getting, exactly what you deserve. And when you have an issue with that, instead of addressing it, instead of looking at it, you try to make it some other man's problem. Well, something wrong with the men. It's because they don't have enough, because they're not coming correct. No, those that have done that sort of work, that have the ability to do that, you have to be a convincing enough woman to say, yeah, you should park right here. These are the things I can offer you. Rather than saying, hey, I have a kid, now you have to be Superman right now. I know you try to show up as Clark Kent. I've got a bunch of Clark Kents. I need Superman right here. Men are looking and say, okay, for that effort, what am I getting? I'm getting this expectation that I should fund your life. Things that have nothing to do with your kid, by the way. You want a new pair of Jordans. What does that have to do with your kid? What? This is where we look at this and say, this is why, in general, the advice is just say, hey, I'm gonna leave you be. Let that kid hit 18. Let that kid be out the house. Then we can probably talk. Until then, I'm gonna leave you to rock, because for whatever reason, you're still adopting the attitude of a single young woman, a single no kids young woman. And as you age, you're supposed to have more and better experiences with men. You're supposed to gain an understanding of what makes them tick. What do they need? What do their egos require? If you're not actually arming yourself with this proper knowledge, you're still adopting a young woman's game. That's why you seem very silly to us. For most men that are capable of doing the things that you're requesting, why they tend to not show up around you? Why you tend to start asking the questions, where are the men? They see that and they say, I don't want anything to do with it, because your mentality is still of a 18-year-old person. Grow up, understand your kid is a complication. It's not, for some, it may be a deal breaker. For others, it may be a workaround available, but that now depends on the quality of woman that you actually are. Listen, before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Subscribe. We've got Subscriber Sundays coming up 7 p.m. Central Time, so make sure you don't miss it. Jump in the chat with us. We have a little laugh, we kiki, and we ha. That's what it's all about, creating a little community here. So listen, hype the video, share the video, all that stuff. So men hear this thing all the time. We see the remarks, we see the desires or the demand by single women, sometimes single women with multiple kids. We don't really know the deal here, but you buy yourself life is harder. So now you believe you deserve more. You're upset that there's not really a community around there to help and assist you. But all these problems, I'm not going to say they're simply self-induced, but from your situation, they're your issues. You take that into the wider dating market and you get upset where men say, hey, I'm good. Or, fair enough, that men are looking to say this is recreational use only. So if you want to put a higher price on entry and say, you have to buy me Jordans, you have to come cut my grass, you have to do all these things that an actual man, an actual father would do, you're going to find issue. Most men are going to find issue with that. They're going to say, well, what is the purpose of this? What do I get from this? And if it's just you as a person, they say, okay, look, I'd rather do that with someone without the kid. Is that a preference? Is that a boundary? Either way, it's something that you should respect. You only make your situation worse when you have louder and more aggressive demands from men that have no obligation to you. They don't know you. They didn't put that baby in you. They didn't abandon you not to help you raise that kid. This is not my issue to solve. You can improve your odds, however, by being a better woman, by understanding your own femininity and your own power, and also having your life tight and buttoned up. You're not looking for someone. Men don't want to come and say, now let me play stepdaddy, let me play savior, let me play Superman in your situation. They're going to look and evaluate and say, okay, it's simple pros and cons. They're going to look at you and say, con, you may think your kid is the best thing in the world, and people are entitled to that. But to me, I don't know the lad. I don't know the girl. So that's going to be a complication. That's going to be a con. But look at you. Look at the type of woman you are. Look how feminine you are. Look how graceful you are. Look how inspiring you are. I can work with this, right? I can work with this. Now, there are going to be a lot of men that say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You got to respect that. You got to respect that. But when you come out and you start yelling and screaming that men have to show up for you in ways that they have no obligation to because love is not enough, okay, you're entitled to that. Respect when men say, I don't want to deal with any of this. I think that's a fair solution. You can look at this. But the more you scream about it, the more you try to vilify, say men are wrong for not doing X, Y, and Z, that's not going to move the needle. Not with the men that you actually want. So let's be very clear. You can find men that'll come and cut your grass, that'll come and buy you those sneakers, that'll come and buy you those Jordans. You're not really attracted to those men. You don't like the way they look. You don't like the way they smell. You don't like the way they talk. You don't want to show them off to your friends. But they're there. They're probably in your inbox right now. That's not who you actually want. You want these sucker sort of attitudes and mentalities in the men that you actually want, in that top 10%, 5%, 1% man. You want him to come and say, yeah, I'll bend the knee. That might happen. You just have to give that man a compelling reason, because he doesn't have to choose from you alone. Think about it. But listen, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. Just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.